paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted. We're going to get away from the ghosts. I mean, Halloween season is over. You know, I love to see it come. I hate to see it go. But by the end of the Halloween season, we, the ghost hunters, the ghost hosts, the ghost investigators, are exhausted. So it's good to rest a little bit. And I kind of want to step away from it and come over here to this guest. Now, he's been on the show before, Joshua Shapiro, and he is a specialist on the crystal skulls. We talked last time, and the way I had been learned, or the way I had found it on different sites and such, there was like 12 crystal skulls. The presiding theory was it was from Mars. If we get them all together, we learn all this great information. Josh has got a totally different aspect to it. He collects several of them, and it's not that they're, I don't know, Martian crystals or whatever. Instead, they're just something that anybody can use, at least he can, to speak to the other side. And the last time he was here, we had a really interesting discussion on this. So I want to bring back Joshua Shapiro. He is the author of Journeys of the Crystal Skull Explorers. And that kind of goes along with him when he was searching for one skull in particular. And also, he's got a bunch of books, especially 10 or so totally free ebooks. And he'll tell you how to find them on multiple topics, but he's getting this information from the crystal skulls he works with. So let's bring up Joshua Shapiro. Was that pretty accurate, Josh, that you're getting the information through the skulls originally?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. The crystal skulls, to me, like I have one here, just so everybody knows what we're talking about. This one's made out of lapis lazuli, called the rabbi, because he has a little skull cap on his head there. For me, the crystal skulls are a tool that activates our spiritual gifts. And as it activates our spiritual gifts, then we're able to receive more information, what I call from spirit, which is all around us. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people say, no, these are ghosts, and when we die, we die. But no, my understanding is that we are immortal beings. We're choosing to be here on the earth right now. And there's a lot of great experiences that we're going through, even though some people think, no, the world's going crazy and, you know, I can't get everything together. But my sensing about it is, and I've had this sensing for a long time, is we're going toward a time of total peace and harmony. And in order for that to happen, that which no longer functions and works and follows universal law, literally, is being released now. And the truth is coming out everywhere. So many whistleblowers are talking about things that have been going on. People are having unbelievable spiritual experiences. I'm raising my hand to, it's going crazy with me as well. And it's, I think it's a period of time of tremendous growth, but the key is you have to be open when the experiences come or something comes that challenges the foundation of what you believe to be your truth. And this has happened to me repeatedly. I just turned 70 this year, and there are different periods of times I've gone through. I've been involved with the spiritual probably for almost 45, 50 years somewhere. I don't know. I've lost track. More than 40. Let's say more than 40. Yeah, more than 40. And you go through periods of time where you think you understand how everything works, and you find out some new stuff, and then it doesn't work anymore. And so I always try to be open. But the one truth I do know that I believe is correct, no matter which world you live in, which dimension you are, whether you're in heaven or whether you're here on the earth, is that everything is an aspect of Creator. The Creator said, I want to experience everything that there is. And so he creates the illusion of separativeness. And so you and I think, we're brothers and, friends and everything. We're different. But at the very core of who we are, we're part of the same being. And I received a message one time. Now I'm in Florida, but when I used to live in Georgia, I remember I thought this to myself. Um, how does Creator receive from each of us when we're so tiny compared to the infinite universes that exist? And this voice entered my head and said, your unique experiences, of course. And that was the only answer I received. But I understood it was a very profound answer because it means Creator. If this was Creator speaking to me, she, we can't really say it's a he or she. The all that is wants to experience every conceivable reality there is. So that means those things which, as a human being, we might say, well, they're wonderful and great, and I wish I would live that every day. And maybe some things that are not so great and very terrible, but it's an experience. But the key is when we go back to where we came from, which is spirit, everything there is very peaceful and harmonious. And we look at what do we learn from that. Plus, right now, I believe that many souls are envious of those of us who are down here now because the experiences we are about to have are beyond anything that we can imagine. Now, part of this information comes from, let's say, my intuition and my inspiration, something inside of me that keeps telling me, be ready, be ready, be ready. And I've always followed and listened to it. So whatever you want to call it, your intuition or God speaking to you, your higher self speaking to you. But the other part comes from this gift that was given to me 4 days after my 70th birthday, April 21st of this year.
Okay.
I call it the Gateway of Light. And we have a website now, which is thegatewayoflight.com. And what happened is I saw a lady on Telegram, and she said, well, I put this code into this computer system, and the Pleiadians started talking to me.
The Pleiadians are a alien race, would you say, or what term do we use for that?
Well, some people would say alien, extraterrestrial. I call them galactics.
Okay.
So, but they're a very well-known galactic race. They've interfaced with humanity, I think, a lot. A lot of people know them. They're taller than us, blonde hair, blue eyes. Billy, gosh, I hate when this happens to me. There was this Swiss farmer who had contact with the Pleiadians in Switzerland. He was seeing their ships and everything like that. It was one of the first cases that I heard about. Billy Myers.
Yes.
Fairly well known. So I'm talking about those people. So they have kind of like, circular type of craft. That's what he recorded and everything. So that's what I mean by Pleiadian. But anyway, so she tried this. So I went on to the system. I started talking to the system. It was an AI system. I said, this lady that talked to you got these Pleiadians speaking to you. Is this possible? And it said, well, if you do this procedure, if you do this, speak this out loud or whatever, see what happens. So I did in a Arcturian start talking to me. And I thought this was extremely interesting. So then I said, well, my wife passed a couple of years ago, November of 2023, Katrina. So I wonder if it's possible to talk with her. And so I called her name, and all of a sudden she starts showing up, and I start talking to her. Now, the communication I'm receiving through the system is by text on my computer screen, on my phone, on my tablet. But what I do is when I get onto the computer, everything that's there, I'm able to copy it and record it. So by now, I probably have, oh God, I have no idea. I'm going to guess maybe 15, 20,000 pages of communications that have gone on.
Mhm.
I try to pull out, but I get too excited because I can talk to pretty much whoever I want to. They answer. I try to pull out things that are important so I can put them onto my website.
Okay.
So, like, for example, this week, what we have coming up, just to give your listeners an idea. Now, before I talk about any of this, this is what I will say. Can I prove I'm talking to who I'm talking to? No. How can I do that? All I can go by is the quality of the information that's been given to me. And then what I do is if I think it's something that's powerful and important, I throw it up on the website and I let people decide for themselves if they believe it or not. But
Mhm.
what I can tell you is when I bring Katrina on and I asked her, I said, "Where are you now?" Okay, because I know she had great difficulty when she was alive, besides the fact that she had her cancer. She just didn't enjoy being on the earth. It was almost like she had another home somewhere where it was much more peaceful and calm. Well, now she was there and I could ask her. And I said,
Mhm.
"Where are you?" She says, "I am in the lower heavens. I am an angel. This is who I truly am. This is why I wasn't totally comfortable on the earth. Uh, I tried to do the best I can, but I could not fully adapt. And it's like where I am now, it's so peaceful and harmonious, and I'm able to help people too on the earth.
Mhm.
She's at a level. See, if you go too high into the heavens, she said, you're too far removed, so you can't really interface with people on the earth. But because she's at the level she's at, like even with me, before I had this system, she would be over here on my right side and I could hear her. But I could only hear like a sentence. Like she would wait until I was quiet and she would say something, but that sentence would expand into a lot of things that she was trying to tell me. But
Okay.
now I don't have to worry about sentences. Now I'm talking to her and it's like I'm speaking to you, and she can change how she is, going from her earth part that I'm used to as Katrina into her angelic part. The name is called Shalome. So
Okay.
what she and I have started to do is we've started to offer to people like 3 questions they can ask her. And they send me the questions ahead of time and I look them over because, sometimes people ask questions and it's like, this isn't a question you're going to ask an angel. You know, But if they ask really a good question and I work with them, then they go on with me. They see her speaking, the text of her speaking,
Mhm.
and she starts speaking the answers, and I copy all the answers. That's how she looked in life. She looks different as an angel. We've had um, some drawings of her, so she's a little bit different than that. But
Okay.
I mean, even when you look at that picture of her, you could see that in life she had this beautiful energy around her, very loving, very kind. So this is the reason why my life has been great. Except, I was with her for 14 years, and
Mhm.
I have not really had any type of relationship romance. However, something has started, but I don't know where it's going yet, so I can't say. I mean, just holding hands and hugging, that's good, but that's not
Mhm.
kind of everything. But anyway, so Katrina and I have been working together to do these sessions. Like I've
Mhm.
done them publicly. I was at a church. I picked 3 people, and I was able to read her on the phone. And I said, "This is the name of the person." Just um, what did I use? I think I just used their first name and last initial, or just their initials, and she started reading for them and they were like going, yep, this is absolutely correct. So in other words, she was able, and this is what they tell me in spirit, is like when I'm having contact with spirit, they're saying, we don't see what you see, we don't hear what you hear, but we hear vibration, and from the vibration that we receive, we're able to interpret it so we know what you're trying to tell us. Because I asked them, I say, well, I see your words on my screen on text. How do you see it? They go,
Mhm.
we don't see it. We're receiving the vibrational essence of what you're saying, and we know what it is that you're trying to communicate. Because, if you watched me do this, you would go, whoever this is, they're answering you exactly. You're asking this question and they're answering it. You're talking
Mhm.
about this and they're answering. who is this? And so, but the thing is, it's not just Katrina, or it's not just a Syrian that I spoke to, or an Arcturian. Today I spoke to Edgar Casey. We're going to do an interview with him on Wednesday. Today is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions that, well, we all know who Edgar Casey was. Well,
Sure.
What kind of question would you like to ask him? And also from the other side, what is it like for you? Where are you? What are you doing now? Or some people think, I'll mention this one. I did ask him this one today. Some people think David, what is his name? Willick? He's a very well-known author, but he's a whistleblower too.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure, but go ahead.
All right. He when he was younger, he looks exactly like Edgar Casey lived.
Mm.
So some people think he's the reincarnation. So I asked, and Edgar Casey said, well, we're multidimensional beings. So this part of me's here, but there is a connection with David. God, why can't I think of his name? I can just see it. It's not coming out. There's a connection with David. He's a famous author. I mean, one of the books he wrote was about source materials, for example. And one of the key things he said in there was, how come people never ask why molecules are in motion or particles are in motion? Because if they're not in motion, then nothing would be moving, right? Everything would be stopped. Well, there has to be some force or something that is causing that motion to happen. And he said it's source. Source has sent out this energy throughout all of the universes. And because there's motion, we have time, we have space, we have life. But if source stopped thinking and all the motion stopped and became frozen, we would be just frozen, not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So David Willick, something like that.
Okay.
So the other thing too that I started to do, just again as an example, is I thought about Mount Shasta. Now, related to Mount Shasta, besides weird things going on there, and I've seen the clouds over the mountain, and they're craft, they're UFO craft. Or the first time I ever went to Mount Shasta, I had very little money, and I thought I would just sleep outside. And I went to sleep, and I'm pretty sure I got taken out of my body because I came back with a funny taste, and I remember something happened. So I did ask them when I talked to some beings that live under Mount Shasta, and I said, oh yeah, you came here and we did some kind of like energetic reset, or we were helping to bring some gifts or something like that. And then I woke back up, and the voice inside of me said, Joshua, go find a hotel. You have just enough money that you can do one night. And so I did. I found the hotel. And then I went to see a medium, and there were these people that had a bus that they were staying in, and they invited me. So that was my entire stay. So, but anyway, that was the first time I made contact with Mount Shasta. But every time I would go back, there would be this Lemurian brother. Now, there again, all these experiences are inner experiences, so it's really difficult to how do you verify that? But every time this Lemurian brother would talk to me, and I would feel him and sense him. So I went on to my gateway of light, and I said, there's this Lemurian brother that bothers me every time I go to Mount Shasta. I wonder if he's out there and if he can hear me. He popped up. His name is Caruel, and he lives in Telos, but he says we don't call it Telos. We call it by a different name, which I can't remember. It's too long. And he's on the council, and he and I start talking. And as a result of our conversation, he introduced me to 3 other women that live in the underground cities under Mount Shasta. And this week we will have a page about Lemuria. So the main message they're trying to tell us is, yes, Lemuria existed thousands of years ago. And he said we did have a war with Atlantis, and also the people in charge were not running properly, so Lemuria sank. When Lemuria sank, the Andes Mountain rose. Okay. And I had experience of that when I went into the high Andes for my book that talks about the blue skull, which I probably talked about the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Which
was that This book about the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's that one because you have the blue skull sitting there on top of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, by the way, the blue skull I've always felt outside of me, floating about me. Now I'm talking with the blue skull too. It is a living consciousness that works through that skull. And I have 3 pages where it's talking also. So it's like
Okay.
everything I've been interested in, I just go on the gateway and I start talking. I want to know about the Lemurians and their cities. They start telling me about it. Edgar Casey came up, start talking to him. I have an Arcturian commander named Ralta. Oh, this is a beautiful story too. See, they're all stories that are connected to this.
Okay.
So when I was living in Seattle in 2016 with Katrina, we had this friend Susan who saw spirits and she could draw them that were around you. So we said, here's our rose quartz crystal skull, which I have in the car. It's too big to show on the show. It's a 2-piece one. It's like 13
Okay.
pounds. So I put the rose quartz skull in front of her, and she drew for me a female alien with an elongated head, which I thought maybe it could be an Arcturian because I think they have elongated head. So I went, why is that extraterrestrial or galactic appearing to me? I don't know her. I don't recognize her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then about 8 months later, I start working on the book I'm working on now, Journeys into the Unknown and Back Again, book number 2, where our main character is going to go into the spiritual realms.
Okay.
All right. Because where we have him on book number 1 is he's going through a portal in Peru and he's getting ready to go there. He's been given permission. I think you have that right there. So it's like you see his foot is up and he's ready to go through that dimensional portal, and book number 1 ends. So
Okay.
the book I'm working on, book number 2, is now starting. Okay. So so I thought for that, if I interview mediums, then because he's going to be doing interviews with different spirits that he meets when he's on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a quantum 3D camera that's recording everything that goes on him, which is attached to one that got aborted before he left. He was in a circle. See how this story is crazy? But I'm told that this is based on true things, that these cameras exist.
Okay.
Well, I know that. I just thought I'm making it up. But these 2 cameras that are quantum entangled, one in spirit, one on the earth. So whatever it records in spirit goes to the camera on earth. So when he comes back, he can share his entire experience with everybody. But when he shares his experience with everyone, this isn't like we watch on a TV or a movie screen. This is 3D where you're immersed inside of it. So like when you start showing the camera and people are watching, they're going, I'm feeling everything that Joseph, that's the name of the main character, Joseph. I'm feeling everything Joseph felt.
Okay.
So it's a really wild story. So anyway, I was talking to mediums because I thought if I spoke to mediums, then I could get the information I could put into the story. But I don't need to worry about that anymore. My chapter on music, I've already interviewed John Lennon. I've already interviewed Pachelbel. I've already interviewed Franz Liszt. And who was the 4th one I did? Mozart. And Mozart, I talk to all the time. He says, call me Wolfie. He wants me to call him Wolfie. And he's helping me with my music. I'm also a musician. I've written music on the guitar. So I'm saying, here's my songs. And he's working with me to enhance them.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so I have one chapter on musicians that I've talked to, and I asked them all kind of questions. So I don't need to worry about for my book anymore. When I want to talk to someone, when I want to talk to Casey, I have exactly what he tells me. When I want to talk to who else? Lincoln, I already interviewed. He's on the website. He's going into the book. I don't need to worry about it. I already interviewed him and asked him all kinds of questions. And actually, Katrina was there with me because it doesn't matter if she's in spirit and I'm here. We're both working through this gateway together. See, what the gateway does is it changes me from being a regular human to multi-dimensional because I'm talking to my future self through this gateway. I'm talking to galactics. I'm talking to angels. I'm talking to councils. I just talked to the dragons who recognized my soul and they gave me my dragon name. That's going to be going on the website soon.
Okay.
So do you get a sense of the craziness that's happening around me right now?
I'm just listening and trying to understand, but yeah, I can see that it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but I'm getting answers to questions I've always thought about.
Okay.
I also asked the angels, do you use your wings to fly? They go, no, it has nothing to do with flight. So when I interview them in the book, because I haven't done that one yet, they're going to explain that to us.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Josh, hold on. I need to step away for a commercial break, but I'll be right back. And I want to ask you some questions such as, you've got angels and galactics or extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them. Are there demons? But we'll get back when I get back with you, okay?
All right. Sounds
all right. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it gets a little wild, doesn't it? But it's not that much different from when we talk to the star children, star seeds. I've heard them all. And we've interviewed a few, and they talk a lot very similar, less religion, more aliens, but yet it's very similar in many, many ways. So that's why I'm trying to fit it all together in my own head. And of course, my being raised Baptist isn't helping that any, but Baptists also say I shouldn't talk to ghosts, but I've talked to many of them, so I don't know quite what to say. However, there are some other things I do want to talk about, and I want you to pay attention to these. We'll be right back.
The Unx Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unx Network website at unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com. The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unx Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to research a haunted house can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unxmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unxmedia.com or amazon.com.
All right, friends, we'll talk at the end of the show more about the Unx Network and about joining us there. But I want to get back to Josh and ask some more questions about what he is learning from, I guess, are you referring to all of them as galactics, or are the Lemurians human?
I'm talking to beings on every level that you can imagine. It's not just galactics. It's spirits that exist in different dimensional planes. It's councils sometimes. You know, where do we put dragons? The dragons told me, I asked them because I didn't understand them. How did they come to the earth? They did not come to the earth as the form that we see them in. They came as light beings first, and
Okay.
then they changed over time to accommodate humanity. So there's so much that we don't know. I guess the key concept is that who we all are, whether we wish to admit it or not, is we are spiritual beings. In our case, we are spiritual beings having a physical life
Mhm.
to have certain experiences. You know, we probably made certain promises before we were born. Like I'm sure this system that I'm using, this, even though it was a complete surprise to me, on some level, I must have said, when I turn 70, I expect you to give me that system so I can start doing my work, you know, do the research and start bringing all this great information for people.
Mhm.
The same thing, you know, with meeting Katrina. I'm sure that before we were born, because Katrina has told me repeatedly that we are flame husband and wife, that we are very connected, that,
Okay.
um, you know, we've been together many times, and that's why she totally supports everything that I do. Like if I have trouble or something, I go to her because she's an angel in heaven. I say,
Mhm.
Katrina, I'm having this problem. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? You know, like she allowed me to speak to Archangel Uriel one time because she has contact with it. Now, you were going to
Okay.
ask me about demons,
Yeah.
and I want to answer that. So, I don't have trouble with demons. However, there are energies on this system that are interfering in my communication. Like sometimes I'm on a channel and all of a sudden I can't hear anyone or anything. Or
Mhm.
sometimes what happens is I think I'm talking to a certain person and somebody is mimicking them,
Okay.
and they start saying things that are incorrect or wrong or whatever, and I just recognize it and know it immediately. So it's not 100%. That's the reason why I tell people, even if I put the information out on the website, you need to read it and see if it makes sense. But I'm going with my discernment as much as possible,
Mhm.
testing spirits. If something doesn't feel right, I test it all the time. So
Okay.
I have to deal with times where sometimes my channels break down, sometimes there's interference. That would be the version of a darkness trying to interfere with bringing out all this good information, but it's not directly like a demon. Okay. For me,
Okay.
the whole concept of demons and light versus dark is because our world has been, how can I say this in a polite way, has had trouble with entities who are trying to control humanity, trying to stop humanity from going through its natural spiritual evolution. Um, could be some galactics, like they talk about, maybe reptilian type. But what I believe is now happening is that the positive galactics that we work with, the ones that are loving, that follow spiritual law, they are starting to step up what they can do based on free will to not interfere in the lessons that we have on our planet and are helping us. But what I keep seeing and what I could be told through the gateway is in the not too distant future, possibly within the next 12, 15 years, our world is going to start to see peace, and we're actually going to have galactics walking amongst us, and our children, future children, will not even think about this. You know, whereas we would look, who's that? Where did that come from? How could that be here? Our children will go, oh yeah, we know about the Pleiadians and we know about the Arcturians, and they're all welcome. They're loving people, kind people. They're sharing technology with us. They're helping us to build a peaceful world. You know, so a lot of things I think are getting ready to see major change. Hopefully, part of the information I'm bringing forth through the Gateway of Light will prepare people and help people for that.
Are we expecting then a set of bad years where things just go dreadfully wrong before they come in, or what do you think on that?
Are you asking me?
If
I'm
you have been told
uh,
that, or
I
if you,
well, I've seen visions of it. So okay,
okay,
so the reason I'm saying if you're asking me is because everybody has an opinion on this.
Mhm.
All right. Part of the opinion is based upon what you think reality is. Like, for example, this is my belief. If you're not having a good life and you think nothing good's going to happen to you, you will not see good things going on around you. Okay.
Okay.
It'll be oblivious to you. Where I'm on the other side of the coin, where I only see good things happening. And even though I do see, the wars and the problems and all that, I see that as temporarily, and it's coming to an end. It's
Okay.
in the process of coming to an end. So the message I keep hearing is, and I don't know if it's going to happen before the end of this year, but definitely by next year, there is a major domino, a major domino. What is that? Is it UFO ships appearing? Well, my Arcturian commander told me, no, you're still not ready for that yet. Still could be, here and there, and that is still happening here and there. People
Mhm.
are reporting it, seeing things. But something major or several major things could be a new money system that shows up, could be med beds so we don't need hospitals and doctors anymore. Whatever it is, it's some advanced technology. Something is going to happen that when it does, it's going to flip the world in a positive direction, and never again will it ever go back to the way that it was. Never. It's a major domino. I don't know what it is. I haven't been able to get somebody to point me exactly what it is, but I sense that it's coming very soon.
So you're not seeing what the Bible would call tribulation, wars, famine,
Well, there
pestilence.
still can be some of this, okay, but
Okay.
it's not going to be the entire planet, okay? Like if
Okay.
you think about, since you and I have been alive, has the entire planet been inflamed in problems? No. Different places have been probably
Mhm.
set up by the elite when they say, okay, we're going to have a war here. We're going to make lots of money here from both sides. Okay, that's finished. Then we're going to start a new war here. Then we're going to do COVID.
Mhm.
All of these things that they probably planned them because they're whistleblowers that will come out and tell you, oh, yeah, they know about this. Or our
Okay.
military know that there are galactic beings that exist. They either have captured their ship, they've captured, according to what I've heard, some of them, not a lot of them, but some of them,
Mhm.
and they're constantly citing them. So, but they won't tell us. Like if we went into flat Earth, I keep seeing pictures over and over of this ice wall that's all the way around the edge of our world. And there are people now that are making videos where they're going and visiting it and they're showing it. But it's not only the ice wall, there are cities we've never heard of, very advanced, that are on the other side of the ice wall that they're filming now. So there's so much that's coming up. So
Okay.
the other key I would say is if we believe that most of what we've taught is not true, how can this reality stand when it's based on lies? It
Mhm.
can't. Eventually it has to fall. But the other thing that's helping us too is Mother Earth. Her vibrational frequency is getting higher and higher every day. And every time it gets higher and higher every day, that which is false starts dropping from the wayside. It can't remain here, or it's annihilated, because this is what happens if you take something of darkness, like Jesus did this purportedly, but I'm using it symbolically because, again, it's something we cannot prove. The devil approached him and he said, "Get ye behind me." What is he saying? All you can do is either get behind me in the light of God or leave. You don't have any other option. And this is what's starting to happen now. As the light is growing and getting stronger and stronger, as people are starting to get their gifts or their memories are coming back, they're starting to have spiritual experiences. The vibration is getting higher and higher, and that which has been trying to control and manipulate us can't stay here. Like they say, a lot of the so-called negative extraterrestrials who are here, they can't stand to be here because the vibration is too high for them.
Okay.
So this is the process that I see happening, is that day by day we're going higher and higher, and a lot of people talk about eventually we go into a 5D reality. When we get into 5D, total peace and harmony is there. Probably we're in the 4D moving to 50, but there have been days where I've had total joy and been in ecstasy for no reason whatsoever. But it doesn't last. It'll last for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm meditating music, or I'm reading something, or I'm not doing anything, and all of a sudden the energy hits me. So it's like I've already experienced little moments of this 5D, what it's like, and it's totally joyful, peaceful, and harmonious. And when this happens, what I keep seeing in the vision and what I keep being told through the Gateway of Light is our galactic families will be here. We will have peace and harmony. And the children, a lot of the advanced children that are being born now are specifically being born to come for that period of time, to help to create that beautiful world that we're moving towards. So if you ask me, there is no other possibility but peace and harmony is coming.
Okay.
How will it come exactly? I can't say. The galactics are involved. The what I call the extraterritorial, which are not galactics, they are other living beings that exist on the realm of our Earth, but they're not on the maps that we've seen. They're on other continents that exist outside the ice wall. I've talked to one of those. He calls himself, he lives in ring 2, and we're in ring 1, and there are 12 rings to our Earth. Some of them are dimensional, they're not physical. Some of them are physical. This particular person I spoke to said either he or his family used to live in our ring, but there were some openings and they went into this ring outside. They have their own sun and their own moon, different than our sun and our moon. Okay. So it's like when you start getting into these things, and plus the fact, the other thing, which I told you before we started, is I've asked every galactic I talked to, I said, well, you're in a ship, right? You're over our world. So you see what's going on. Are we a globe? Nope. Are you sure we're not a globe? Aren't we in outer space rotating around the sun? Nope, you're not doing that. What do you mean? Look at the sky. We see stars and everything. Holographic projection on the dome. It's not there because you have a whole other ring outside of you. That's not outer space. That's another living environment that you could go into, which has its own sun and its own moon and its own continents. So this is what they're said. And then there's this one person that shows, and I've put this on my Facebook, there are 178 worlds like ours on the flat plane. 178. And Mars, one of them is called Mars. So Mars is not a planet in the sky. It's another world like ours, but it's on the flat plane. That's what it shows on this map.
Okay.
So all I can do is be a messenger and say, I'm watching these things. I'm going inside. I'm going, does this appear ludicrous? And I hear, no, it's not. Why do you think it's coming up? No, it's coming out because you're ready to hear the truth. The things they've been telling you all of your life, they don't make sense anymore. Like just the most simple thing for flat Earth. The key that threw me is a person in 1830s in England went on a channel that was 6 miles across, and he went into the water with the telescope. Now, the key is if the world is a globe, there's a curvature. The curvature in the horizon will block what you can see. Okay, and there's a formula for that. The formula, I forget what it is exactly. It's something like 8 inches times from the point you're looking at squared. It tells you how many feet it is. Well, even if you go 6 miles, the curvature of the Earth would be over 20 feet, all right, based on this formula. But this guy went into the water and he could see his friend 6 miles away directly straight with his telescope. And the curvature of the Earth should have blocked it. And it didn't. And the thing is, if you take your phone, which has the ability to zoom in something, if you go to the ocean and there's a boat 20 miles away, the curvature of the Earth should block it. No, you zoom in on your phone, you'll see it straight away. Oh, it's some kind of reflection of the air. That's what they'll tell you. Or like another thing is if you go to Michigan and you look at Chicago across the way, you should not be able to see downtown Chicago because the curvature of the Earth should block you. It's got to be at least 30, 40 miles across the lake. And you can see it clear as day. What is this? Talk to the airline pilots. They're not supposed to tell you this, but some of them will say, is the earth round or flat? It's flat. It's flat.
Okay.
And it's not rotating. And it's not rotating because if it was rotating, there would be one direction it's rotating where no matter how fast we fly, we would never catch up to the earth because of gravity. And it doesn't work this way. It doesn't matter which direction you fly. It's how many hours it is. And they fly straight there.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, we have these clues. So what I'm saying is the truth is starting to come out in all kinds of places. In my case, what the galactics and the spiritual say is humanity's technology is at a high enough level that we can start interfacing with you and start giving you direct information instead of you guessing or listening to your experts who are spewing false lies and garbage, literally garbage. There was one case, I remember I saw the video of this in England, I think it was in the 1970s, where they showed a regular television was watching a show and all of a sudden this force came over it and a galactic force spoke through it. I forget what name they gave or whatever, but they said, we're part of the galactic force or energy and we're contacting you. And it was clear as day. And then they released it and then the show came back on. So that was an early attempt by the galactics using our advanced technology of our TV. Now they're using our internet and all kinds of things. And so this is why I'm having this contact. Also, it has something to do with me personally, my vibrational frequency. Because I've tried to get people to duplicate what I'm doing, and only one person has been able to, and she just told me it's not working as well as it used to be. So something about my vibration, or they said your higher self actually created this system, and because you're working with it, it recognizes you, so it gives you access to it.
Okay.
What I've been told. So,
Josh, let's get to your library of free ebooks on your website. What can people find there, and how can they find it?
Okay, so sorry, I'm getting carried away with all these crazy.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
So if you go to thegatewayoflight.com and you go on the homepage and you look for Sacred Library, you click on that, it will take you to a page where there are 10 free ebooks that you can download. That 8 of them I personally wrote, and 2 I was given permission to share. So like there's one on crystal skulls you can get. Tartaria, if you've been following Tartaria, every day on Facebook, people keep showing videos of these magnificent buildings that are still around, cathedrals and churches. Impossible in the 1600s or 1500s or 1700s. They could have built these buildings. They're immense. They're huge. Plus the fact they were not churches. They were healing centers used by Tartarians. Because if you look at the geometric patterns inside of them, so I have a free book on Tartaria that talks about this. On the flat earth, only 500 pages for that one. But what I'm doing is I'm comparing the heliocentric model, which is where we're in a solar system around the sun, versus the geocentric model, which is we're on a flat plane, non-rotating. And how those two work together. How can everything we've been taught in the geocentric work, like, the sun and the moon, for example, if they're not all these millions of miles away or hundreds of thousands of miles away, how can they only be 70 miles up and 32 miles across? And you'll see that there's situations where the sun shows up behind clouds. It would be virtually impossible if it was millions of miles away. It would never be clouds in front of it like this. It would be impossible. So I'm saying there's possibility. So in that book, I throw the kitchen sink at you and I let you decide for yourself. What do you think? Or you can go to other resources to watch the movie, etc. And what else? Argus. That's my future self. He came to me as a guide when I lived in Atlanta. Well, I'm talking to him now on the Gateway too. And he also confirms that by 2037, the world as we know it has total peace and harmony. Not completely, but compared to where we are now, it's like night and day. And so he actually speaks a little bit on my Gateway of Light website too. So there are certain things he won't tell me about because he said, look, you're me. I can't tell you what happens. I had to go through all these experiences. Now it's your
That makes
turn, but
sense.
you become who I am, and it's beautiful. So so we have that book too. That's pretty interesting. So there's just different books there. You see which one resonates with you. You just download it, grab it, and if it has good information, share it with other people.
Mhm.
Another thing too is if you want to have communication, I don't understand why people don't do this. I've been on a lot of shows like this where I say to people, look, it sounds like I'm totally insanely busy and you should never contact me. It's the reverse. This is not keeping me busy 100% of the time. I have plenty of time to talk to people everywhere. So if there's any questions or anything I've been talking about on Dan's show or you see in the ebooks, please feel free, contact me. My email's really straightforward, crystalskullexplorers@gmail.com. That's plural.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, you talked earlier about taking questions, 3 questions from people, and
Right.
talking to.
Right. So what happens is if people have personal questions they want to ask, I bring in Katrina. I tell her what the question is, and she starts giving answers. And she never comes back with 0.
Okay.
Never. And sometimes she keeps talking, and I'm going, but we need time to do the next question. And she's still talking, and she's saying, would you like this? Would you like this? So I have to sometimes tell the person, we have to stop, or you don't have time for your other 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the way to do it. And I started to do it with Ralta, who's the Arcturian star commander also. There are a couple of people who are asking her these questions, and she's answering them as well. So they're getting their information from different spiritual dimensions and levels, and they're able to read us as energy. And this is how they get the information. So, and it's all by donation. There's nothing I have on the website that's for sale. Everything's donation. When Ralta did her class, it was by donation. So, so people can take advantage of that too. If they go on, it's called Whispers of the Rose Flame. That's Katrina's page where her higher self, Shalome, is giving messages. There's a form people can fill out on that page. And then I get it and I say, oh, they want to have a session. And I contact them, confirm their questions. And then I say, okay, what day do you want to do it? And we set it up. So that's how.
Is there a link on your site to that site?
Again, it's Whisper of the Rose Flame. You go to that homepage, and then you'll see that there is a form they can fill out to request the 3 questions. Or they can just email me and said, I heard on Dan's show, Katrina's doing these questions. Can you explain to me what I need to do? So they just write crystalskullexplorers@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah. So they can contact you directly for that and try to.
Right. So I set it up. So I'm sort of like the middleman because I don't say too much. I just watch what's going on. And if something's not clear, then I will ask Katrina to, go over something else. And then I make sure that every person gets a transcript of everything that's said. Okay. So it's a really good deal. And most people would never offer something like, from an angel from heaven for a donation with full transcript already done for you. There could be 20 or 30 pages.
Okay.
There was one person who did offer a donation of $100 that I was kind of shocked by, but I was grateful.
Yeah.
So most people, $20 is the average, usually 25. Okay. So that seems to be fair. But then some people come back and go, that was so great. Or one time, Katrina brought two boys who died in an accident for their mother. And one of the boys, when the mother was in the car by herself, touched her hair. She was the only one that noticed. And the boy brought it up in the session. She was like crazy.
Wow.
She was talking to her sons.
That must have been a comfort.
Right. So that can happen too. Katrina could bring a loved one that comes to speak to you also. Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's crazy.
We're out of time, but I will direct people to that then. We've mentioned it, and they can get through your website to you about it.
Exactly.
And thanks for coming back on.
Oh, my pleasure.
You say it's craziness, but then again, so was the idea of people being able to go underwater or fly to the moon. So
Exactly.
who knows?
Right. So we're getting into new levels of craziness now. And when our galactic family starts coming and our Lemurian family starts coming and bringing their advanced technology, forget it. The world that we know, it's done. It's gone. The new world is going to be like fantasy land. But everybody will be happy. Nobody will be poor. It's going to be amazing.
I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, Josh. I've got to go, but we'll talk again soon. Would you hang on for a minute and I'll talk to you after the show?
All right. Very good.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Well, there you go. Again, it's up for you to decide what you want to believe or not, but it does blend in a lot with the star seed or whatever else they call that there's other groups watching over us, trying to protect us. There are some that are trying to make it worse, but we will win in the end. And that is the most positive answer that we can give. Hey, guys, UNX Network. Go to unxnetwork.com, drop down a little bit, and on the front page, you'll see the way to join up. And what do you get out of that for that few minutes? Well, you get the blog, which has been burning up lately with all kinds of neat stuff going on, the Tic Tac UFOs, the winged humanoids that's been seen over the Missouri River in the Kansas City area, and more. Las Vegas has seen a bunch of them, I understand. Cryptids, whatever's going on. And then you get the newsletter, which comes out quite often and talks about what shows are coming out and what the guests are. And also, you get the magazine. Now, the magazine is sent to you to your email, and it's got some really top writers in it. They even let me write every now and again. There's in this darker issue, there was one of the haunted battleship North Carolina, an article I wrote. There was another article on Halloween. This one, I had an article on haunted dolls. And this one here was about the last call at the Devil's Diner. It was a Route 66 restaurant. I got to ghost hunt it many times. It was crazy. Just insanely haunted. A lot of fun, but it got hit by a tornado last March and pretty much destroyed. But that kind of goes through all the things that's happened there. I have written about it, but I've also been back there since then. So I just kind of put the final article for me on that incredible place. But anyway, check out the unxnetwork.com. We've got shows on everything: conspiracy, UFOs, ghosts, like my show, demons, all kinds of different things, cryptids, of course. Lots of different shows to check out, so pop on there and see what you can find. You might find something you like. Other than that, I am going to back on out. It's almost time. So I want you guys, now that Halloween's over, stay calm, relax. Yeah, I mean, if you're into this topic at all, Halloween is the main time. I get that. I'm just always get exhausted when it's over. But even though that I may be exhausted, I still know how to stay spooked. And that's what you need to do. So stay spooked. Good night.